Hi there. I am here to talk to you about puppy blues because it isn't actually a real thing. Now, I was trying to wait for the perfect moment to record, but unfortunately, there isn't one in my life currently. I have 3 beagles, one under the age of 20 weeks, and who is currently in her crate eating a hoof to try and keep her quiet. And I've also got Billy who's sniffing around like an idiot. So I apologise that this may not be the most perfect video you've ever had from me. But I wanted to talk to you about puppy blues today in particular because I'm going through it. And I wanted to give you an accurate account of what it is and why some of us go through it. And it does tend to be women. And it tends to be people who are having to handle their puppies on their own, which I am really, even though I've got a husband and a child. Lois is 20 weeks, has epilepsy. And, understandably, my husband and my child don't like having to deal with it because it's not very pleasant to deal with. But also it means that I'm having to deal with the epilepsy and the getting up in the night. And also my routine has changed. So I was used to having 2 super lazy beagles who like to get up in the morning, have their breakfast, lie on the sofa, go back to sleep whilst I drank my coffee, went through Facebook with you guys and started my day. Whereas now I have crazy time and I am not a morning person. So at 6 a.m. or between 6 and 7, I'm getting up. I'm dealing with 3 beagles, a puppy who has got horrendous manners because she's picked up some stuff from her previous home. So we have a lot of barking. And we also have Billy, who, as you know, has got some serious issues of his own. And he winds Lois up quite a lot. So over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've had to adapt. And I'm not very good at mornings at all. So I get quite angry in the mornings. And I want to be really honest and open with you so you know that even as a professional dog trainer, this is really, really hard. Okay. So our routine now is that they get fed. Daisy goes back upstairs to bed because Lois won't leave her alone. Billy goes in the hallway. We have a stair gate and Lois is in the lounge with me. And that typically tends to calm her down just a little bit. And if not, I'll play with her. So I just throw a toy whilst drinking my coffee. It is hard because I love my sleep, and getting up once in the night is a regular thing at the moment because Lois is medication. But, you guys may have a very young puppy, so you're still getting up in the middle of the night. And also I've got medication, which means that Lois drinks more. So getting up in the night is quite tough. Puppy blues. It's a real thing. You can look it up online. It's been likened to baby blues, postnatal depression. It actually does feel a little bit like that. Probably not as bad, but the emotions I have been feeling in the last few days: anger, emotional. I've cried. I'm not going to lie. I actually cried on a call with a client today. God bless her, and she was wonderful. I get frustrated. I'm getting frustrated. I'm feeling resentful as well. So I'm feeling resentful of my husband because he's sleeping in another room because he needs his sleep. Can't handle Lois waking up. And I'm getting resentful towards my child, which is awful. She's only 12. But of course, she's staying out of the way because Lois is nipping her. And then to top it off, I'm being resentful to my other beagles because Billy just is a nightmare with her. Although they're really good together, he winds her up, he steals her stuff. And then my Daisy, who I used to use in my training, who was really good at telling other younger dogs off, now she's older, just doesn't tolerate them at all. And so she's not doing anything other than just trying to get away from them. So I'm feeling a bit resentful that she's not helping me, which is ridiculous because she's a dog. So this is what happens. Your brain becomes very irrational. If you can hear whining, it's Lois. Whenever she's eating a chew, she whines. I don't know why. But don't be hard on yourself. And I have to tell myself this, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm feeling 100 times better than what I was at 7 o'clock this morning where I wanted to kill everybody. It is tough. Beagle puppies are tough. That's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm having a puppy, so that I can empathise with you guys even more, and particularly around this. Now, the reason why puppy blues happen is because it is a change of routine. And also you have this, I did, Lois became available. I was like, oh my God, puppy. I'm going to have a puppy in my life. It's going to be amazing. I'm the beagle trainer and I'm going to have the most amazing puppy. My God, reality hits. And you can be the best beagle trainer on the planet, but we're still dealing with a sentient being, an animal that has a brain. And even though I'm like, yay, this is what you do, you train them like this, she ain't doing that. So it's tough. And you do have those days, and I have had them too. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, where I've thought, what the F have I done? I had a quiet life. I didn't feel the way I'm feeling currently. And now I have a puppy who not only is a puppy and a beagle, but also has epilepsy. But I have to keep telling myself, this is a phase. This is a phase. It's going to stop. It's going to get easier. She came to me with issues. And even if you guys have not adopted a puppy and you've got a puppy at 8 weeks old, you're going to go through toileting issues. You're going to go through getting up in the middle of the night. You might have 3 or 4 really good days where they sleep through, and all of a sudden you're up for a week every night. It's how this happens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. We have a puppy. You're also, having to deal with the nipping and the barking. They all go through this. The barking in particular, not all of them, but the majority of beagle puppies find their voices around sort of between 12 and 16 weeks. And that's when they try to see if it gets them what they want. And that's the toughest time. And I found it really hard because I am really conscious of the noise, not so much for me, because I can drown it out, but my husband has tinnitus. So it goes through his brain. I've got neighbours. And I'm worried about upsetting them, but I'm having to ignore the barking, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a seriously barky beagle. Because what tends to happen, and this is why you see these oversized beagles, is that they literally, oh, my dad's ringing me. Hold on, let me just turn that off a minute. They basically what people are doing are they're feeding them. So they're shutting them up with food because they don't want to upset the neighbours, particularly if you're living in an apartment. Feed them. And then we end up with a beagle that barks to be fed, and then we end up with an overweight beagle. So we do need to have some kind of coping strategy in place. And if that means that you don't, you may not know your neighbours very well. I do. I text my neighbours and apologise all the time. It might be that you slip a note through their door and just apologise for it. Give them a bottle of wine and some earplugs or something like that, just to alleviate the stress and anxiety from you. But it is tough, guys. You've got this tiny beagle in your house, and it's not doing what you thought it was going to do. And even I'm learning this myself. But it does get easier. It will get easier. I know it will get easier because I've worked with beagles at all stages of their life, from 8 weeks to 10 months to 13 months to 18 months to 2 years. Oh, apologies, that's my phone going off as well. But it is something that the majority of people go through. And I do understand why people do get to the point where they can't have the puppy anymore. I do understand, and I'm never judgmental about it, because it is tough. And if you've got wobbly mental health anyway, which I do, adding this into the mix can cause a relapse for some people. And I've worked with a lady who had a beagle puppy from about 10 weeks and she rehomed it at 14 weeks. No judgment on my part. Her mental health was horrific by the time, even in 4 weeks. And now he's living in a loving home, a beagle friendly home, a beagle owner that's had beagles before. So they are unique, guys. They are very unique. My brother has a Labrador puppy about a month older than Lois, and they have had nothing like what I am going through and what you guys are going through. You have a hunter. You have a strong-willed puppy. You have a puppy who doesn't like the word no, actually thinks that's game on, will use their teeth because they don't want to do something. They'll use their mouth because they don't want to do something, whereas a lot of other breeds don't do this. So please, please, please reach out. Hopefully by the time you see this video, Lois might be 12 months old. And I'll have gone through the puppy blues and through the puppy stage, and I will be, able to give you some insight on what I did to cope. But if you're coming to this new now, what was it now? It's June 2021. put a comment below. Email me if you want to email me personally. Use the Facebook group to reach out. I've been posting on Facebook exactly how I've been feeling about Lois, and I want you guys to feel that you can do the same. So yeah, that's just a very quick one for you today. But it is real. Go Google it and you'll feel much, much better. I'll see you later.